guys, look what I found. There's the lower jaw. There's the other lower jaw. There's ends everywhere, and then look at that, it's the collarbone. And then there's like spines and bones everywhere. Oh boy, it's raining. Gotta go back. I'm just gonna take these three, and a tooth just fell out. Okay, it's raining. Gotta go. Oh my goodness. I'm not sure if you guys can hear that, but the rain is getting really, really heavy. Gotta go quick. Gotta go quick. Look at the sky. So you found a skull, and you want to clean it for your enclosure, or for decoration, or whatever you want to do with it. You gotta clean it, right? Because it's a dead animal, and there may be germs. Look at that, there's a little ant over there. Yeah, you want to kill all of these nasty stuff. So what you want to do, grab some hydrogen peroxide, which is H2O2. That's the chemistry code. I don't know, I'm really bad at chemistry. You can get hydrogen peroxide at the pharmacy. I think in the US you can get them at Walmart. I don't know. Basically, hydrogen peroxide is like a disinfectant, so you just get a bunch and pour it into your skull. So what you want to do is cover the entire skull in hydrogen peroxide. So not only it's going to disinfect it, it's also going to bleach it out. Oh yeah, do not ever think of using chlorine bleach like Clorox or any other chlorine bleach. Do not use them on boats. I will demonstrate what happens if you do. You can see the fizz, the bubbles. Yeah, when you put bones in hydrogen peroxide, it oxidizes, so it starts bubbling. So that's how you know that the bone is being cleaned up. Now I'll show you what happens to the bone if you put them in chlorine bleach. Heading back to the bone location, I'm just gonna get a random piece of bone, just so I can demonstrate to you guys how harmful chlorine bleach is to bone. Chlorine bleach, hydrogen peroxide. Okay, so you guys may be wondering, how long does it take for a skull to be completely cleaned in peroxide? Well, usually when the skull stops fizzing. And when it stops fizzing, I would consider it clean. But if you want it to get really super duper white, you can even leave it for a month and the skull will be perfectly fine. Peroxide doesn't harm the skull at all. The longer you leave the skull in peroxide, the lighter it will become. If you want to get like a museum quality skull, like perfectly white, you can leave it in peroxide for a month. Bleach, however, you guys will just see what happens tomorrow. All of the bones here have been disinfected, so no worries about contracting disease and stuff. This one is by hydrogen peroxide, and this one is by bleach. So you may be wondering, why is this broken from the peroxide, right? Well, skulls that are old like this, when you toss them into liquid like water or hydrogen peroxide or even bleach for that matter, some parts of the bone will come out, so all you have to do is just super glue them back and they'll be good as new. Have you guys seen a skull before? So I just want to show you some parts of it. You can see these coral looking things. These are the nose bones. Nasal coral, or if you want to be fancy, they're called nasal turbinates. Oh, don't mind the dripping. I'm just a messy person. But the reason I'm doing this is to show you the difference between cleaning with peroxide and cleaning with bleach, because a lot of people that just find bones think that, oh, I'm gonna toss it into bleach and then it will be nice and white and good as new for me. But no guys, you don't want to use bleach. You know why? The main thing is because bleach will kill your bone, like literally. Look at this. Look at that. There goes this bone. It's gone. That's what bleach does. And that was just minimal effort. I did not even squeeze hard. So that is what bleach will do to your bone. Even if you just toss your bone in for, let's say, 5 minutes, the bleach will settle into the bone because bone is porous. If you notice, there are tiny holes in the skull. Now, because of that, bleach will enter the bone and it will continue to eat the bone over time. Even if you think that you have washed it thoroughly, no, there is still bleach in there eating the bone. So do not, I repeat, do not ever use bleach if you ever decide to keep a bone or something, because you're just gonna end up with a big mess like this. So that's the end of that backbone. So if you use peroxide, you see I'm pressing as hard as I possibly can and nothing is happening to the bone. It remains strong. Well, obviously you don't go and take the soft part like the nasal turbinates and just crush them, because that will crush even if you don't put them in anything. But yeah, the spine was pretty solid when I got it, and it took minimal effort to break. And look at this one. I'm literally pressing as hard as I can and even trying to bend it, and nothing. So if any of you guys ever found a skull or any bone before and you decide, hey, it looks cool, I want to keep it, don't ever use bleach. Let this be a lesson to you guys. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dry out this skull, and then maybe I'll coat it with a clear coat, and I'll toss it into the tarantula's enclosure. I'm not really sure which tarantula yet. We'll decide. So now these guys are gonna be set aside for a couple days, let them fully dry, and then I'll decide if I want to clear coat it with a lacquer or something. And then after that, put the skull into the tarantula's enclosure. Okay, so I've left the skull out to dry for several days. As you can see, it has become relatively whiter. Actually much whiter compared to when it was a little bit wet. And check out the jaw, very nice. If you do get a fresh skull, meaning the animal just died and then you just got the skull, no, not this one, this one has been out for quite some time. But if you get a fresh skull, teeth will be intact, so you're gonna have to clean it up. Make sure you take out everything, make sure everything is cleaned. Otherwise the skull will start to smell, it'll start to rot, it'll start to get all greasy. Yeah, that's just not good. So you'll want a skull that is 100% clean like this. Now as you can see, the skull is in several pieces, so what we're gonna have to do is get some super glue and just glue it back. It may take some time to position it correctly to where it was supposed to be, but once you get it in, it's very easy. You just drip in the glue and it'll hold. I'll stop the video now, glue the skull, and I'll resume the video. I'm just holding in the place of the glued part so it won't come off. Usually when you put super glue, you gotta hold it for a couple seconds for it to adhere to the skull. So that is pretty much the shape of the entire skull. The nasal cavity, the cover, I don't have it. I don't know. I can't remember if I found the skull together with it or I don't know. But that is pretty much all the parts of the skull that I have. This will be going into a tarantula enclosure anyway. It's not going to be a display piece. So the jaw, you're going to have to glue them like you see over here and over here. Yeah, these two come together. So you just apply glue here, and put them together and just hold them into position. If you guys want to like glue in the teeth because they are shaky, just do that, no problem. Just grab your super glue and just put a few drips along the corner of the teeth. Actually, one drip will be enough. Now we just leave it to dry and the teeth will be solid in. Just another drip for this tooth. There we go. Now you may notice the roof of the mouth over here is not perfect. Now I'm not a skull expert by any means. I just glue whatever I see that are out of place and yeah, whatever works, right? How I can tell that this is a young animal, you look over here. The canine teeth are not even out yet. Yep, these two are the canine teeth of, you know dogs, they have those two front teeth, like wolves and all. Okay, so how many seconds has it been? The teeth are already solid in. They're not moving, they're not wobbling. The same thing will do for the jaw bones. Oh yeah, another thing that you can see that this is a young animal. Look at the molars. They're not even fully out yet. Yeah, you see? They're still in the jaw. Yeah, definitely a young animal. I'm thinking a young dog or something. Just a guess. What is wobbling? I think it's the teeth that are still inside the skull that hasn't come out yet. They're still like... Same with this. Teeth are rattling. So I'm gonna have to glue those teeth in. Like I mentioned just now, I'm gonna have to glue both jaws. So I'm gonna apply some glue over here. Here as well. And then just combine them together. Just keep holding them into place like this so they won't fall apart. You just gotta do this for about a minute and they'll stick together. It depends on how big the skull is. If it's like a big wolf skull or something, I would imagine it's gonna take a long time. I've seen some people tie a rubber band to hold them into position. But for a small skull like this, holding this for about a minute should work. Okay, so the moment of truth. Let's release my fingers And yep, they have merged together and now they are one. That looks more like a jaw, doesn't it? So how this works is basically you see these two parts. Yeah, these two parts are supposed to fix into here. It's like a little puzzle. So you just take your jaw, you see those two parts, they just go in like that. So that is the skull. Now we're gonna have to wait for the super glue to set in, so I'll leave this for about another day or so. So while we set the skull aside, I'm gonna go create a poll on the YouTube community section and ask you guys if I should put just the skull in with the tarantula or together with the jaw. The most upvotes wins tomorrow. So the skull is completed, it is fully dried and ready to be put into the tea's enclosure. And like as you all voted, we're just going to be putting the skull in. The jaw, no. So the jaw, I'll be putting it in another tarantula's enclosure just for, I don't know, another decor I guess. But for the GBB, she'll be having just the top half. Gonna move my Psalmopoeus cambridgei aside, and this is the GBB. Check out the amount of webbing that she has done, and this is why I'm putting the skull in here, because she webs up crazily a lot, and it'll be really cool to see her web up this entire skull. I don't know, how should I position it? Like something like this? Or should I put it, I don't know, like this? Yeah girl, come explore your skull. It took me so long to prepare this for you. So it's been about a week since I've placed the skull into the GBB. As you can see, she hasn't really covered the entire skull with web, but she has attached quite a bit of web to the skull. Now this video was just to show you guys how I prepare a skull for my tarantula, and I already think that this video is long enough, so we'll end it over here. With that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to thumbs it up. If you didn't, you're free to thumbs it down. If you have any questions, feel free to leave it down in the comments below. Also, if you're new to this channel, be sure to subscribe, turn on that little post notification bell so you'll know when I upload in the future. If you like support through Patreon, there's a link in the why is it so dark? There we go. There's a link in the description below together with the social media links, so feel free to go check those out. So till my next video guys, take care and peace.